So going into next week, I'll be expecting more of a sell. I'll recommend you wait for price to break below 1.35157 area. So what I mean is you can see that now the price has come into our target from from 2 weeks ago, then and now it has created something like a higher low, still in a bullish trend, right? I hope this is a lower high and a change in market structure. So once that change in market structure happens, anticipate a pullback into one of these areas, into here or here. You now want to sell to the downside of 1.34148. Welcome back, guys. You can see how price pushed lower, broke below, and went back for the pullback into the 1.35157 before hitting our target for last week, which is 1.34148, before Friday's fundamental news event pushed price higher. As a matter of fact, I was in a trade, right? So the outcome of that news actually dwarfed the outcome of my trade, but it is what it is. You already know that I love to toe ones, all right? But anyways, going into next week, what do we expect? Now, first of all, let's look at the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, yes, it does look like we closed with a bearish candle for the week. However, if we go to the daily time frame, it was more like a pullback, a breakout, then a pullback, then looks like price is aiming for 1.36801. All right. However, on this daily time frame, this area still looks like an area of resistance. All right. So let's break things down. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, I will delete this line in the middle. So on the 4-hour time frame, this area of these areas of 1.35803 and 1.35590 is that daily resistance area, though we're on the 4-hour time frame, but you get the point. So and what I said on the daily time frame earlier, when I was on the daily time frame, I said it's like price is aiming for 1.36801. So this is how we're going to break things down. Now, this is an impulsive move from the bottom to the top here. So if we go for an initial pullback, then I would like to see price pull back into these areas of 1.34746 and 1.34646 before we take off. My bullish target is 1.36801. However, if price fails to come for this deeper pullback and for whatever reason price just continues higher from here, then I'll recommend you wait for price to break out of 1.35803, catch it on the pullback, stop loss below 1.35590, and then target is 1.36801. all right, so for now I think price is going to continue bullish, but if price fails to give us an entry above here or at this zone and just continues lower, then your bearish area, your sell zone area should be below 1.33843. price should break below it, come back for the pullback, stop loss above 1.34148, and bearish target remains all the way down here of 1.31057. but going into next week, I think I'll be expecting more bullish price action, so go with the bullish price of things. All right, so the next on my list is EURUSD. Going into next week, what do I expect, guys? To be honest, I'll be expecting price to drop from this 1.7250 and 1.17177 area to the downside. All right, so this is what I mean, right? I would like to see price sell off from there back to this downside here of 1.16302. Welcome back, guys. You can see how EURUSD made its way to our bearish target from our sell zone above before fundamentals on Friday pushed price higher. All right, as a matter of fact, when price came into our target area, I called a bullish trade on our mentorship morning session program, because the morning session was on at the time of this trade. As you can see, that's the signal on your screen. So before I continue, guys, our signal service begins on the 1st of August. I've gotten a lot of DMs, many people saying they are not available for the mentorship, so they will prefer signal services. I've been super busy. You know, when you make all this money from Forex, you want to expand. So people always ask me, if you make so much money in Forex, so why do other businesses? It's because as a man, I believe women also have these mindsets. I mean, serious minded people should have this mindset that you can't pass on trading. All right. I have a kid tomorrow or a wife tomorrow. As a business minded person, I'm not planning to not be around in the nearest future. Of course, I want to live life and all of that, but I have to think about the future. And in case anything happens in the future, those that I leave behind, I mean, you can't pass on trading, right? You can't pass on trading. Anything happens to you today, your kid, your family may not see the market the way you see it. What if they don't even have interest in trading? I mean, trading comes with a lot of emotions and all of those good stuff. So not everyone can withstand that. So I have to build something that can be passed on from generation to generation. So most of towards the ending of last year and the beginning of this year, I have been super busy building businesses, real estates, and stuffs like that. Those on the mentorship program knows this more because I communicate this from time to time with them. But starting from next month of September, I will be disposed and have enough time to focus on the markets. Not like I don't trade, I trade, but I'm not always on the chart. When I come to the chart and I see good trading opportunities, I take them, just like the ones I've been showing you from time to time, right? But just so you know, the signal service is going to be kicking off next month. So the link is going to be in the description of this video and in the pinned comment down below. So make sure you book your spot. For all of you that have been in my DMs requesting for signals, this is your opportunity to do so. So, you know, analysis is one thing, execution is a whole different thing entirely. So book your spot now. So let's go back to the analysis. So going into next week, what will I be expecting on Euro USD analysis wise? So if I go to the weekly time frame, you can see that we closed with a bullish candle. Let's go to the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, looks like price is bouncing off these areas of support. You can see it's in a straight line. So that's a daily area of support. And as you can see, Friday we closed with a super bullish candle. So I think that price is trying to attempt this 1.17782 area. Or let me even put another line above it. This other area above is also a valid area, 1.18063. All right, so I think price is trying to attempt those areas. Now let's go to the lower time frame to break things down. Meanwhile, let me delete these areas from last week. All right, if price decides to pull back after the impulsive bullish move we saw last week, I think price will want to pull back into these areas here. So I'd like to see price pull back into these areas of 1.6755 and into these areas of 1.16755 and 1.16569 before we take off into our bullish target, which once again is 1.17782. All right. However, if price just continues trading to the upside without giving us a good pullback, then I want to see price break out of 1.17250 and then come back for the pullback. Stop loss below 1.17151. You want to catch that on a much lower time frame and still trade into that target, right? So I'm mostly bullish next week, but for whatever reason, if price wants to do what it does and just tank, then I would like to see price break below 1.15937, stop loss above 1.16302. Then bearish targets will be all the way down here, which is around 1.1447. All right. So, but I am mostly bullish going into next week. So I'll initially focus on the bullish analysis I just made. All right, so that is that on Euro USD. The next on my list is USDJPY. So last week on USDJPY, I actually wanted to see price break out, create a new higher high around here, which happened. The price came for the pullback sharply, but didn't give us a confirmation to enter. This is why I usually recommend you don't use limit order, because I said I want to buy or sell from certain areas. All right, you can see how the fundamental news event changed our plan, and now price is super bearish. All right, so what's going to happen going into next week? I'll go to the weekly time frame. So we obviously closed with a bearish candlestick last week. Let's check out the daily time frame. We closed with a massive bearish engulfing candlestick last Friday, thanks to the news. All right, meanwhile, let me move this zone all the way up here. I will explain why in a bit. So I'll go to the 4-hour time frame next. So on the 4-hour time frame, I'm going to be plotting a zone around here. So if price is to continue bearish, I would like to sell below 146.397, and then stop loss would be around 146.623. So I'll wait for a pullback after a break below. Then my bearish target will be all the way down here of 143.361. On USDJPY, I'm going to be giving bullish and bearish scenarios. All right, so for bullish scenarios, I would actually like to see price break above this swing point here. Between these zones, I will do nothing, but if price breaks below here, we'll sell just like I analyzed earlier. And if price breaks above 1.48741, I'll wait for a pullback, stop loss below 148.403, and then bullish targets will be 150.730. So those are my bullish and bearish scenarios on USDJPY. The next on my list is GBPJPY. So on GBPJPY, I didn't analyze GBPJPY last time out, so there will be no previously. So I'll just go all the way to the weekly time frame straight up, and you will notice that on this weekly time frame, this is an area of resistance. Price has respected these areas previously, all right, multiple times on a higher time frame, which is the weekly time frame. So you don't want to joke with it. Last week we closed with a bearish candle at a resistance area on the weekly time frame. Do not overlook that. Then on the daily time frame, looks like there's a change in market structure. Higher low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So I think price may drop next week. But let's go to the 4-hour time frame so that we can see things clearly and better. But before I continue, this was a trade I took on Friday. I actually split my risk. I was risking 3% across all trades. I won few of them. I won most of them rather, and I lost on gold because I was on the buy. The price stopped me out before taking off. I will show you that in a bit. All right, so this also went straight to TP, but yeah, I think I took this on the 15 minutes time frame. I went for 2 to 1. You know, I love 2 to 1s a lot before price just continued further down. All right, so which is a good thing. I mean, if you're using my strategy and you're someone that has passion for higher risk to reward, you can actually put in that. So if you're taking my signals starting from September and you see the performance within the first month, which I guarantee is going to be superb, you may want to do what? You may want to observe how price moves further even after hitting my TP and choose to tweak things for yourself. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's a free world. You are free to make your own decision. Don't let anyone limit you or put you in a box. All right. So if you observe the signal, because that's what happens with most of my trades, they usually move significantly and all of that, so you can incorporate that into your signal. So if I give 2 to 1 TP, you can choose to increase it to your desired risk to reward. All right, so back to the analysis. Anyways, let's go back to the 4-hour time frame. So going into next week, now that price has moved significantly away from that weekly zone. So I think I would recommend you wait for price to break below this area. So wait for price to break below 197.909. Catch it on the pullback. Stop loss above 198.028. And then you want to trade all the way to the downside. My bearish target is 194.818. All right. If for whatever reason GBPJPY decides to go all the way bullish next week, then wait for price to break above 200 points for 046, which is above our weekly resistance level. Catch it on the pullback, and then bullish target here is all the way up here. So bullish target is 206.092. All right, so those are my bullish and bearish scenario. And the last on the list for this week is gold. So this is the gold I was talking about. All right, so I noticed that price has been bouncing off these areas, especially during last week's price action. So I decided to jump into the trade on Friday. All right, so you may be wondering, I took a lot of trades on Friday, but like I said earlier, I allocate the risk accordingly. So on all my trade ideas on Friday, I didn't want to be too exposed. So I was willing to risk around 3 to 5% of my entire account size. So what I did was I allocated those risks across all the different trade ideas. So it's not like I'm risking 3% on this trade, 3% on that, and the other one. You understand? So that's too much exposure. So, but price stopped me out because I did this on the 15 minutes time frame. Price stopped me out before taking off, but you know, it is what it is. You can't win them all. The bottom line is I won most, and that's what matters, right? So if I go to analyze next week's price action, I'll go to the weekly time frame, and we closed last week with a bullish candle. You know, I've been talking about gold for the longest, that it is actually in a choppy market right now. This is not a swing trader's delight at the moment. So except you have a strategy where you get to execute on a much lower time frame, more like a day trading strategy or even a good scalping strategy if you have one, that's the only way you can make money in this gold market, because there is no significant move up or down for a long period of time. I mean, for a couple of months now. Going into next week, we are still going to look at the short-term price action. So I'll go to the 4-hour time frame, and I'll delete these zones from last week, because last week I actually wanted to either see price break out of this zone, give us a pullback and trade to the upside, or break below this zone, which price attempted but failed to give us a bearish candlestick to sell. So there was no confirmation. I don't know how you get into trades, but me, I usually put plans in place before I get into trades. All right, so going into next week, we'll still go with a bullish scenario. So if price decides to go for a deeper pullback, and what I'll do is I'm going to put a zone around here. Sorry, my chart looks messy, but I'm doing this because of you guys actually. So if I were trading alone, I can visually spot all of these zones. I don't need to have all of these lines on my chart. All right, so going into next week, if price decides to come for a deeper pullback, then I'd like to see price pull back into 3,350.973 and 3,344.962 area before price takes off. My bullish target is all the way up here, which is 3,434.990. All right. And if price decides to just continue trading to the upside, so what I would like to see is for price to break out of the 3,368.141 area properly, because it has broken out of it, but I'll still like to see continue higher so that we can properly create a new higher high above where my mouse is hovering above right now. All right, so I would like to see price break out of that zone properly, then I'll catch it on the pullback. Stop loss below this red line, which is 3,359.460 before we take off. All right, and if for whatever reason price decides to go berserk next week and decides to just tank all the way to the downside, then I would like to see price break below 3,327.552 area, and then come back for the pullback before trading into our bearish target of 3,264.176. But I think, in my own opinion, as it stands right now, price is mostly is most likely going to go bullish. All right. Thanks for staying to the end of this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, share this video, and also subscribe to our signal service, which is going to be kicking off in 2 Mondays. All right. Tomorrow is Monday. I'm talking about the Monday after tomorrow's Monday, which is the 1st of September 2025. So I'll see you on the inside. Until then, have a fantastic trading week ahead, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.